My outline of presentation will be background, what is the definition of sustainable energy, function of SEDA Malaysia, what is just a slide on Feed-in Tariff, what are the relevant laws, other activities which SEDA is doing, the issue and challenges, and also the way forward that faced by SEDA. Okay. Now, what is the definition of sustainable energy? By sustainable energy, according to Bretland report, sustainable energy is the sustainable provision of energy that meets the needs of the present without compromising the future. Okay? Without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their needs. Okay. But before we can do sustainable energy, we have to define what is renewable energy and energy efficiency. In order for you to do renewable energy, you need to do energy efficiency. So briefly, the broad interpretation of renewable energy is that it is any form of primary energy from recurring and non-depleting indigenous resources of technology as set out in the first column of the schedule of the Renewable Energy Act 2011. Now, energy efficiency, meanwhile, is the efficient use of energy to produce better or the same level output without compromising comfort level. Okay. These are the eligible renewable energy. We have biomass, including solid waste, but our biomass is purely from agricultural waste, that is from the oil palm. Then we have biogas, including landfill and sewerage. And then we have small hydros and also solar PV. Now for solar PV, we have the few categories, which I will go into slightly later on. Okay, now geothermal has recently been included in December 2013. Now the pictures that you see here are not any geothermal plant in Malaysia as yet. We don't have any as yet. We are still undergoing doing some study in Ulu Slim Perak as well as in Tawau. So right now, these pictures that I put here is just for decorative purposes. This is from the geothermal plant in Bandung, our neighbor geothermal plant. Okay. Now, what renewable energy development in Malaysia? We have purely under the 8th Malaysia Plan, 2011, as well as 9th Malaysia Plan, 2006 until 2010. And also as of the 31st December. Now, under the 8th Malaysia Plan, which is 2011 to 2005, we have RE as the fifth fuel. And we implied about 5% of RE in the energy mix. And then subsequently in the 9th Malaysia Plan, which is from the year 2006 until 2010, we targeted RE capacity to be connected to the power utility grid. That is for Peninsular Malaysia, we have about 300 megawatt. For Sabah, we have 50 megawatt. Now, I have to make a disclaimer here. The Electricity Supply Act 1990 only covers the whole of the Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah and the Federal Territory of Labuan. Sarawak is excluded because they have their own laws and they are under the purview of the Ministry of Public Utilities, Sarawak. But that does not mean so. I can say most of the program, we are not, when it comes to power generation, Sarawak is out of the picture, but there are some things like the rebate, 20 ringgit rebate, and even those, the electricity tariff, the 300 and below, Sarawak is included in that, in the national plan. But for electricity, we don't govern. The ESA 1990 does not extend to Sarawak. Okay. Now, the targeted power generation under the 9 Malaysia plan, we have a mix of like 51% of the natural gas, 26% of it is coal, 9% hydros. This is from mini hydros. And then, so in this case, bakun is not included in this 9%. Otherwise, if we have bakun, we have about 14% or more, probably. And then 8% oil. By oil, you mean your own 95 and 97. Diesel is only 5%. Biomass is about 1%. That is the target which we set in the 9th Malaysia Plan by 2010. Now the carbon intensity reduction target, it's 40% target, which is lower than the 2005 level. So we hope to achieve this 40% target of carbon intensity reduction by the year 2020. And then RE, as of 31st December 2010, we have the power that is connected to the utility grid. We have about 68.45 megawatt, which is 20% from the 9th Malaysia Plan target through the Small Renewable Energy Program, or what we call SREP. And then off-grid, we have about more than 400 megawatt, which is from the private palm oil millers as well as the solar hybrid. Now, solar hybrid, the definition, you can Google for it. It means it combines the advantages of both organic as well as inorganic semiconductors in the solar hybrid. And I think Dr. Ali will be talking about that more in the feed. Okay, so mine is just a bird eye view. Okay, now SEDA Malaysia, what and who is SEDA Malaysia? Okay, the function of SEDA Malaysia, out of the 23 functions that we have, there is actually 2 main functions which of primary relevance. The first one is to advise the minister and other government entities on all matters relating to sustainable energy, including recommendation on the policies, the laws, and action to be applied to promote sustainable energy. This is a very big and tall order. So we have, SEDA is only 4 years old, so we have a high standards and a high target to achieve, and we hope to achieve it with the collaboration of not only all the intergovernment agencies but also through the industry players as well as the rakyat, okay, the buy-in from the rakyat. And then the most important, which SEDA is known for, is to implement, manage, monitor and review the Feed-in-tariff system as provided under the RE Act. Now, probably for your information, maybe you already know, SEDA was established on the 1st of September 2011, and through the enforcement of the Sustainable Energy Development Authority, or SEDA Act 2011. Okay, next one, we should go to what are the National Renewable Energy Policy and Action Plan. Here you see that we have the 8th Malaysia Plan, the 9th Malaysia Plan. So now renewable energy, let me go back, okay. Energy will increase to more than 1% in 2009 to 5.5% of Malaysia total electricity generated by the year 2015, that is next year. Okay. So there is a component, the mix there. You have from biomass, biogas, mini hydro, solar PV, and solid waste. So the introduction of the Feed-in Tariff, initially in 2011 was 1%. Now it has been, early this year, as of 1st of January 2014, it has increased by 1.6%. And the establishment of this and also for the establishment of the RE fund from the Feed-in Tariff to be administered by a special agency, which is SEDA. So SEDA is actually an agency under the Ministry of Energy, Green Technology and Water. So we are one of the agency. So this is the National Renewable Energy Policy and Action Plan. And then what is the strategic trust? We have 5 strategic trusts here. Briefly here, you have Trust 1 to 5. Trust 1 is to introduce the legal and regulatory framework, which is through the RE Act and the SEDA Act 2011. And then implementing, and this RE Act and SEDA Act underline the procedures for the Feed-in Tariff mechanism implementation. And other than that, for the strategic and who are the implementing agency is SEDA here under the NREAP. Okay, for the RE fund, just now I mentioned that initially it was 1%. Now for the feed-in tariff. So this feed-in tariff is actually to pay for the premium cost of electricity generated from RE sources and technology, and that there is no funding from the government. So let's say if you pay 100 ringgit for, you contribute 100 ringgit, you pay your electricity bill. So 1.6% will be 1 ringgit and 60 cents out of that 100 ringgit. Okay? And this is actually created under section, the RE fund is section 23 of the RE Act and is administered by SEDA Malaysia. But initially for the RE fund, SEDA Malaysia received an initial grant of about 300 million from the government of Malaysia. For Strategic Trust 2, we provide conducive business environment for RE, where for the feed-in tariff and all that. Okay, hold on. Where I will show you all the picture later on. Okay, and then briefly, Strategic Trust 3, we intensify human capital development, where we have courses for like Chargeman, Wireman, all that. A few courses on solar PV. And then Strategic 4, we enhance our RE research and development. We have a few collaboration with a few local agencies. And then we are also looking to having collaboration with probably international bodies as well. And the last trust is to create public awareness and RE policy advocacy programs, which is today is one of which is our policy awareness. Okay, what are the critical factors for the success? We have a few factors for this. We have legal instrument, I have already said that. Establishment and the RE fund, I've already said this too. Okay, the source of funding, 2011, again, I reiterate, it was initially 1% from the tariff collection of electricity bill, and then additional on it starting January 2014, so 1 ringgit and 60 cents for the contributed to the RE fund if you pay 1 ringgit, 100 ringgit. But the size of the RE fund will determine the RE target for Malaysia. So the benefit here is that we have the polluter pay concept, and it will not affect the 70.67% of the domestic consumer, electricity consumer of TNB, 62% of SESB, that is Sabah Electricity Sdn Bhd, 80.51% of Nur, which is in Kulim High Tech Park. So this will not affect basically those who consume 300, not more than 300 kilowatt per month, which is equivalent to ringgit Malaysia 77 ringgit. Okay, so the idea behind this is more to encourage energy efficiency and also demand side management, how you manage your electricity. Okay, these are the Malaysian national RE targets. We have for the year 2015 cumulative RE capacity. Just briefly put this on the slide. So later on, Dr. Ali will expatiate more on this. Okay. Okay, what is the feed-in tariff? The feed-in tariff here are the conceptual framework for feed-in tariff. You have SEDA Malaysia who administer the feed-in tariff. Then you have the solar building integrated photovoltaic buildings, and then you have TNB, SESB, and also NO here, there, and then goes to the residential home. So basically, these are all governed under the RE Act 2011. So you have commercial sector, you have the shopping complex and hotels and all, and also industrial sector, and then RE. Then you have the residential, which is the domestic. For the feed-in tariff, we have here for solar PV, we got 3 categories. We have the individual, which is for residential, and individual is, limit is only up to 12 kilowatt per installation. And for the non-individual, we have 2, which is, one is below 500 kilowatt, and the other one is up to 1 megawatt. Okay. For the community, we just introduced it this year, but we have a limit up to only 24 kilowatt only. And then I can say for individual, the basic rate is ranging between 99 cent to about ringgit Malaysia, 1 ringgit and 23 cent. Okay. And then for the non-individual, the basic rate is about 0.82 cent to ranging between 0.82 cent to ringgit Malaysia, 1 ringgit and 1 cent. Okay. 0.1 cent. Not 1 ringgit and 1 cent. 1 ringgit and 0.1 cent. Okay. That is for the non-individual. For the community, the basic rate will be the same like the residential, which is the individual, which is 0.99 cent. For the small hydros, the limit is up to 30 megawatt, and the basic rate will be 0.24 cent, which I know is not as attractive as the solar PV, but we are working on it. I think we just amend recently the rates for biogas, biomass, and also mini hydros. Okay. For biomass, the limit is also up to 30 megawatt, and the basic range will be from 0.30 cent to, that is without the bonus. If it is with bonus, it is 0.38 cent. And for biogas, the limit is also up to 30 megawatt, and the basic without bonus is 0.31 cent, and with bonus is about the same 0.37 or 0.38 cent. Okay. Now the interesting bit of it. So I'll show you pictures tell 1,000 words. So you have solar PV. These are the houses or the building integrated photovoltaic extended carport, 3 megawatt. I think I'm not, there are a few around here in the Klang Valley. Okay. Okay. Individual terrace house, you have, this one is example that we take in Seberang Jaya in Penang. The house is about 12 kilowatt per hour. And then you also have, this one is for the non-individual. We have right here, Surya KLCC, Kuala Lumpur, 685 kilowatt per hour. And then you also have 8 megawatt per hour in Pajam Negeri Sembilan, and 646 kilowatt per hour in Bayan Lepas, and 470 kilowatt hour in Shalam. This is a solar farm which is about 10.25 megawatt at Gemas Negeri Sembilan. Solar farm with a single axis tracker, 6.5 megawatt per hour at Sepang, Selangor. This is the Energy Commission building or Suruhanjaya Tenaga, where you have solar panel on top of the roof, the diamond shaped building, which is about 71.5 kilowatt per hour, per peak. Okay. And then this is the Malaysia Green Tech Corp, which is a green energy office, which is 92 kilowatt per hour per peak. Now we go to the small community. Small community, it was just introduced this year, and it's for schools, public schools, and houses of worship like mosques, churches, temples, schools, and also welfare homes is categorized under the community. So we put pictures of schools, although we don't have any yet. There are some applications, but none commissioned so far. But it's just been introduced this year. We do have, but it's under the Green School campaign and all that, but not under the community. Community is still relatively new. Okay. Okay. Small hydros, we have about 2 megawatt MCOP Peting. These two pictures above are all from MCOP Peting. And then there's one 3.2 megawatt in Sungai Rek, Kelantan. For biomass, these are among the few pictures that I have. 11.5 megawatt in Sandakan, Sabah. And then you have 6.5 megawatt Lukut, Negeri Sembilan. For biogas, we have one in Negeri Sembilan, Serting, Hilir, and in Batu Pahat, Johor. Okay. Now for the boring part, the RE Act. Okay, what does the RE Act says? RE Act here comprise about 9 parts and 65 clauses, and it was passed passed in the Parliament 27 April 2011 and enforced on 1st December 2011. But basically, the important part of it is more for Section 4, which is eligibility for participation in Feed-in Tariff system. Section 14, priority for purchase and distribution. Section 15, payment of Feed-in Tariff. And Section 17, digression of the Feed-in Tariff. And Section 23, the RE Fund. These are the main provision of the RE Act. Subsidiary legislation, we have all this. We have about 13. Now for SEDA Act, SEDA Act 2011, we have only one function that is, of primary relevance today, which is Section 15, the function of SEDA Malaysia. The purpose is to refine SEDA Malaysia's function and responsibility to the minister. Okay, what are the other activities? Under SEDA, we have SE, Sustainable Energy Competency Development, where we have RE trainings. So SEDA Malaysia, together with conducts various sustainable energy trainings. So these are among some of the courses that we have in collaboration with all the local varsities and bodies. These are the courses for solar PV, where the training is provided, for instance, in UITM for chargemen, training providers. So there is a certain fee charged to the institution. Okay. This one is also part of it, where we have in collaboration with a few bodies, and we are going to start. The D is a new one, where we're going to start a SEDA Malaysia off-grid solar PV system design. We are expected to offer this in Q4 of 2014. Okay. These are the courses which were conducted, pictures of it. Grid-connected solar PV course, practical, and also the field visit. This is the grid-connected solar PV management course for ASEAN, where SEDA collaborate with the ASEAN Center for Energy, ACE. This was conducted last year, 9 to 13 of September, and it was attended by 16 reps from ASEAN countries. And the training provider is UITM Shah Alam. Okay. For small hydros, we do introduction of small hydro technology, technical design, operation, and maintenance issues for engineers. We conducted this 2 years ago. And they also did a site visit to the Cameron Highlands, TNB Cameron Highlands Hydro in Pahang. Okay. We also have competency course on the field acceptance test, the FAT of small hydros power plant. This was conducted last year. This was conducted at MCOP Perting's Hydro Syndrome Berhad. Okay, for biomass and biogas, we did have introductory training, technical training on power generation from agricultural as well as municipal waste, where the participant make a site visit to a waste to energy plant in Tuas, Singapore. Among the EE trainings, the EE itself will be done by one of my colleagues, Steve, later on, so I won't go into much detail. Okay, what are the issues and challenges? Now, we have very highly subsidized electricity tariff, where the government of Malaysia pays very much into the generation of electricity, the component of the fuel mix, particularly for the pipe gas, where it's highly subsidized by the government of Malaysia. So hence, and it's something like, if you give something all this while we have that subsidy, you want to remove it, it's very difficult. So now the government is going through a government subsidy rationalization, but it's taking place bit by bit. So we hope to make it like, you know, there's a Malay saying, you say, sikit-sikit, lama-lama jadi bukit. So hopefully it's smallest is the smallest steps. So hopefully we try as much as possible. One day we wouldn't have any electricity subsidy. So we are going towards that, hopefully. So and the second things that we face is the RE developer facing delays in implementing the project. It usually takes longer time to commission the plants. And the third one is continuous improvement to the feed-in application process. This year, we start our inaugural, by June this year, we started our first balloting process. So that, to make it fair, so that for the investor, you put in, so at least if that, let's say you spend how much, certain amount of money you put in, so if you don't get it, you feel satisfied that you, at least it's a fair and transparent process. So we are going towards that, I mean, hopefully for the bigger one, but there's still challenges along the way. And RE fund, I've already spoken on this, and then administrative barriers also beyond the jurisdiction of the federal government of Malaysia, because certain issue like for biomass plant or even for the hydros, you have land issues which is in the state, so you got to get all this. And then the other one is high interest in solar PV quota compared to other RE resources. So you have like there's a disparity. Solar, you have more take up for solar. The quota for solar is not enough. And in fact, for the individuals, we try as much to give for next year. But I think this year alone, for the applicant, for the individual applicant, we only have about 80 megawatt to give away. But the application was in the region of like 4,000. So how do you give? So that's why it's the high interest in solar PV. Okay, what is the way forward? We will review the digression rates for biomass, biogas, and also solar PV effective from 1st January next year. And we will focus on biomass and biogas development. And we will continue to intensify new RE resources. Right now, we are doing our study, for geothermal in Ulu Slim, Perak, as well as in Tawau. And we are also doing, SEDA is doing a wind mapping for the whole of Malaysia. So to gauge whether we have any wind, but we are also looking at other possibilities of RE resources, probably maybe ocean. We are going to have in KK, on the 20th, there's going to be a workshop on ocean electricity from ocean. So we will also, SEDA will also continue with our competency development and capacity building program. Right now, we have quite a comprehensive one for solar PV, and we are in collaboration with some universities to do on biomass as well as for biogas. We are doing a competency course for that. And then we are also introducing new RE policies because the RE fund is dependent on the size of the RE fund. The quota is dependent on the size of the RE fund, and we don't get any allocation of funding from the government. What we get is from the Feed-in Tariff. So it's a bit of a challenge in getting money for that. So probably new RE policies, maybe we are going to go beyond maybe like net metering or large scale utility scale for solar. And then off-grid RE development, we're going to have a green grid in Sabah, which is in the pipeline, where you have all the energy generated from the green source. So with that, that ends my presentation.